Hello folks, welcome back. In this section we are going to see how to deploy on Docker using Ansible. So far we have built and deploy on Docker using Jenkins, but there are some limitations to use Jenkins. That's why we are going to introduce Ansible as a deployment tool in our environment. So far our code is available in Git. We can able to build through Jenkins, and our target environment also is available. Nothing but a Docker host is available. Now we should set up Ansible so that by using Ansible we can able to deploy on Docker. In this video I am going to show you how to set up Ansible environment. I have prepared a document to set up Ansible environment. Document has been updated in our GitHub repository. Let's go and check it out. Simple DevOps project. This is our document registry. Go to Ansible. We have two documents for Ansible installation. This is for RHEL, but we are going to use Amazon Linux. There is a reason behind that. We don't have Docker Community Edition for Red Hat Linux, so I'm going to choose Amazon Linux for this. To install Ansible, prerequisites is we need an AWS EC2 instance as a control system. First we should install Python, then Python pip. By using pip we are going to install Ansible. Then create an ANS admin user, because to manage Ansible we should have a separate user. Add this user to sudoers file. Then generate a key pair as a user. So switch as a ANS admin and generate a key pair. Copy this key pair onto target environment. In our case, our target environment is Docker host. We'll copy over there. Then we are going to install Docker on our Ansible system, because Ansible is used to create a Docker image. That's why we must have Docker, and add ANS admin to Docker group so that ANS admin can able to create Docker images. We should create a directory called /etc Ansible. Usually this directory should get created in the older versions, but in 2.8 we are not getting this directory, so we are going to create it manually and create a hosts file to store our hosts information. But in our case I am going to store our Docker host and my Ansible server details. Then we'll do a ping test to check it out whether communication is fine or not. Alright, so for this we need an Amazon EC2 instance. Let's jump into AWS console and create a new EC2 instance. Services EC2. We have already two running instances. One is Jenkins server, another one is Docker host. Let me launch new one. Amazon Linux T2 Micro. Nothing to change here. Name Ansible server. Next, choosing existing security group. Launch it. Let's wait until it comes up. Let's refresh it. Okay, server is in running state. Copy the public IP. Session SSH. EC2 minus user. I have loaded my key pair as well. Alright, become a root. Let's install Python. Yum install Python. Yes, I want to install it. Python minus version. It's 2.7. Then yum install pip. Yes. Okay, we have installed pip as well. Now pip install Ansible. Alright, installation is successful. It is saying pip is at older version. That's okay. Ansible minus version to check out our version. It is 2.8, and you can see config file. Usually this should be /etc Ansible ansible.cfg, but in latest version we don't have Ansible directory itself. Let's create one. mkdir /etc Ansible. Next, we need to create a user. Add ANS admin. Set the password for him. Okay, I have set the password. Next, add this user to sudo's file. You can add it by using vi sudo. If you are not familiar, you can execute this command as well. What I have shown you in the document, there is a command. Yes, you can do this as well. But let me do the vi sudo. Shift G, go to end of this file. O, insert mode, ANS admin, and I will give this so that it won't ask for the password whenever you are logging as a root. Alright, we have done that. Next thing is we should install Docker as well, as I said, because if we want to deploy on a Docker server, we should create Docker images. Let me install Docker. Yum install Docker. Yes. Okay, I have installed Docker. Now start Docker services. Service Docker status. Service Docker start. I have started Docker services. We should add ANS admin to Docker group. For that, user mod -ag, nothing but add group to Docker group. Username is ANS admin. So we have added ANS admin to Docker group. Next, by default, user authentication is not enabled in the AWS EC2 instances. So we should edit password authentication should be yes from no in the sshd_config file. We have done this for a Docker host system. Similar way we should do here. For that, vi/etc sshd_config. Search for password. You can see password authentication. No is there. Let's change it to yes. After that, reload service sshd reload. Next thing is we should generate keys for our ANS admin user. So let's switch to ANS admin account. Okay, now ssh keygen is the command to generate keys. Okay, it's created keys. Usually keys creates under .ssh folder. You can see id_rsa, id_rsa.pub. This public key we should copy onto target environments, and private key we should keep it as secure. If somebody have access to this one, they can able to access your systems. Okay, so all set on master node, I mean to say control node. One last thing what I will do is let's switch back and change host name. Ansible control node. I'm giving okay, so that it would be easy to identify for us. Next, go back to Docker host. Here also we should create user called ANS admin and set the password. So let's create user called ANS admin. User add ANS admin. Set the password for ANS admin. PASSWD. Use the same password whatever you used in master node. Okay, I have set the password. Password authentication is enabled, so there is no issue to log into this system. Now we should copy the keys onto our Docker host system. For that, the command is ssh copy id. Sorry, we should do this one as a ANS admin user. Let's switch back to ANS admin because we should copy keys onto target system. To copy keys onto target system, ssh copy id ANS admin as a ANS admin, copy the keys. So host name, sorry, IPADDR, it will give the IP address. I'm using private key. It can able to communicate with Ansible server through the private key because these all are in same VPC. Yes, I want to connect to that server. First time you need to provide the password of ANS admin user password so that it can add the keys to target system. It's done. Now if I give ANS admin and IP address, we can able to log into target system without password. Yes, you can see here you have jumped from Ansible control node to Docker host system, right? So let's exit again. I came back to Ansible control node. Next, we need to test the connectivity by doing a ping test. For that, as I said, we need to create a hosts file under Ansible directory. Go to cd/etc Ansible. Nothing is there. Sudo vi hosts. Here I'm adding managed host IP as well as local host. Local host nothing but my current system. So we'll do ping test. To do ping test, Ansible all -m ping. M nothing but module. There is a module called ping. Let's ping it. Okay, you can able to ping to the remote system. Local system you cannot because I haven't added keys. Let me add it. To add keys, we should run the command ssh copy id localhost. So it copies our keys onto localhost. So it's copied. This time if I run, so let me run it again. You can see here this time it's successful on both the systems, right? So I can say our Ansible setup is fine. It can able to talk our Docker host. So in case some image is there in the control node, it can able to copy onto Docker host. That's all for this video. In next video, I will show you how to integrate Ansible with Jenkins so that whenever there is a build, it can able to copy it into Ansible system. Ansible system can convert that WAR file as a Docker image, and with the Docker image, it can able to create a Docker container on the target system. We'll see that in our subsequent videos.